Today on Game Talk, we are going to be talking about Board Blitz, a Mario Party-esque game with a high emphasis on mini games. Uh, Today, I have with me Ice Lion, another streamer, and other hosts. Then I also have DDR Cat, a programmer from the project, Peter, the lead designer from the project, and Edgar, the lead programmer. So, welcome, guys.
Hey, hello.
Without further ado, let's first show everybody the trailer from the Kickstarter campaign. We'll just pan you guys right real quick over to that. From upstate New York, so I'm in the East time zone.
Ice, still from Northeast Tennessee, so East time zone as well.
I'm all the way from over in England. Oh.
I'm from Sweden.
I'm in Mexico City.
So I guess the first question I had is when was, because if everybody doesn't know, these are the same guys that worked on Mega Man 2.5, the unofficial fan-made game that a lot of people like. All right, so Mighty Number 9 was supposed to be the spiritual successor that KG made, which was better than nothing in his own words. But this is the one I think people actually liked as a spiritual successor, and like for me, I know you guys have been working on 9 years, and I'm sorry to say, but I really didn't know it was out until a week before it was out, like the official 1.0 release. I saw it in Discord, and I was like, hey, I'll try it. Why not? It looks really. I liked how the screen moved and tilted and everything. It was really fun. So this is the same team that did that, and this is their next project. Question number one: when was the concept for Board Blitz created? Like, was this something that happened while you were also working on that project? 'Cause I know that's still ongoing somewhat.
Board Blitz was thought up whilst we were still. I think it was not too long after we put Beta 4 out of Mega Man 2.5D. It was around that time I presented sort of the loose concept that eventually became Board Blitz to the guys.
So when you guys had originally started speaking about Board Blitz, did it originally start as a party game, or did it derive from something different?
It immediately started as a party game, and it was literally as you can kind of get a hint from with the trailers and stuff. It was the fact that it's a party game that you can play with your friends online.
There's nothing like it really for the PC. Great game to have on there, and especially with online play.
A lot of streamers like to interact with their communities, whether that be with like a game night, kind of with like Jackbox, or some, or like some people do like the Rabbids like video and kind of like a video night. But like this, especially with like, because you listed that you're gonna have both like a traditional like board game, you have like X amount of turns and whatnot, but you also said there would be like you can just play mini games, and I could really see that playing with viewers and like just swapping out viewers every so mini games, and that would just be a great awesome thing to interact as streamers to our audiences and stuff like that. So that is
especially with, if we can get to do it. We've also mentioned on the Kickstarter, we cannot promise this, but we absolutely do want to try and do what we call a one ticket to play system. So quite literally what Jackbox does is they get you to play through a web browser using one game copy. That same concept we want to try and bring to Board Blitz. So you'll be able to download the game for free, but you won't be able to play it unless you have someone who has purchased the game.
Oh,
but
that's
you'll be
excellent.
able to interact with your viewers, so you'll be able to say, "Oh, let's play Board Blitz tonight," and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't own it." It's like, you don't have to own it; just download it and we'll play, and it's all good. That is the basic idea that we would really like to do, and we do want to try and make it platform where possible, multi-platform where possible. So we can't promise that would be a thing, but where possible, we sure as hell want to get as many of them playing together as nicely as possible as we can.
Sure. So speaking of all these features that you were wanting to implement into the game, did anybody's role change, or is everybody pretty much using the same role that they did for Mega Man 2.5D?
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
pretty
has-
much the same,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think anyone's really changed. Edgar's taken on more stress, if anything. I think.
One thing I was kind of curious about, as you saw like some of the characters on the little screen down there in the bottom left, like when at first I thought, Peter, did you design these characters or come up with the concepts? Because I was gonna ask, like, if you or whomever drew them, like, did they know what they were gonna be? Like, did they know that girl was gonna be a playable character, or the little shopkeeper was gonna be the shopkeeper, or did like roles change at all? Like, you thought this was gonna be NPC, but then became a main character, or vice versa?
So I wish I would have come up with some designs because I really like him, but I can't take the credit for it. It's actually, I believe it was one of Edgar's friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much. Well, we went to this guy and pretty much said that we're looking to do something in the style of kind of the Wind Waker, in terms of just like character proportions and going with that cell shaded look. So we gave him some things to go on, and then pretty much just let him do whatever he wanted to. And he came up with a couple of suggestions just for characters, and we ended up we went back and forth and refined a couple of things. And so we pretty much actually started from there, really. And then we kind of just went through all of his suggestions and tried to pick out characters that we think could be a good fit for the game. And that a couple of the minor characters are by me.
You were just like, make us four protagonists that'd be playable. So like, that was his like instructions.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say they were kind of like inspired or a little bit by Wind Waker. I was gonna say Breath of the Wild there for a second. Like, nope, that's not the right one. But yeah, like some of the characters look like straight out. Like, I remember there was like a little kid on the islands, and he'd always have like snot dripping from his nose or whatever, and you could kind of see like a little bit in the faces. I'm not sure, like the eyes just look a little similar, but they really did capture that, and I think it really fits well with like this sort of atmosphere as like a game, game world and all that.
By using a style like this, we can produce assets a lot quicker compared to if we were going for something more detailed, with like really detailed textures and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And, considering we got to produce a lot of games and boards, so it makes a massive difference just in how much time it takes. And there are some other benefits as well, like since you've got like hectic mini games going on, and just with this kind of style it's easier to see what's going on. So
Agreed. And I think that a style this lends to a product constantly staying relevant. As you said, I think a lot of times when you make product that's photorealistic or anything like that, it changes over time. And as I said, it kind of loses some of its quality, where something like this will stay around for a lot longer.
So this might be more a question for Edgar, but from a technical like programming standpoint, what are the differences or challenges, moreover, from like kind of going from platformer in Mega Man 2.5D to doing a completely different game in a party like game?
Oh god. Well, pretty much everything is different now. First of all, we switched engines, but now we have Unreal Engine, which has a visual editor. So that's very, very convenient. But the problem is that, since like 50 different minigames, we pretty much have to code different characters and game mechanics for each of one of these minigames. So every mini game requires a lot of work, like how the camera is going to move, how the characters are going to behave, if the characters are in the screen or not. Everything is pretty much like a mini game on its own. So it's like a completely isolated module, separated from the main board game. So to me, it's a lot of work, but it's a very refreshing change. After working with XNA and C# for like 8-7 years in Mega Man 2.5D, now we're going back to C++ and Blueprints, which is a welcome change. I like learning new things. So yeah, there's a lot of differences, a lot of work, but we're happy to do it.
So speaking of that, with the creation process for the mini games, is it a joint effort, or do you guys assign particular members of the team to come up with each of the concepts for the boards, where you had mentioned like having a casino theme and things like that?
We've kind of just submitted ideas into like an idea hat, as it were, and like I would put across, oh, I think this mini game idea would be neat. Peter turns around and says, oh, I really remember enjoying this out of this game, so we could make a mini game out of it.
Yeah, and also like, I mean, our approach like with this game is pretty much that we want it to be kind of like a greatest hits party game.
But we are not too fond of the purely random mini games, so I think we all try to avoid them.
Yeah, that was sort of one thing we did sort of mention quite early on, is like we want to try and keep the rogue element out of winning as low as possible. Nothing more soul crushing than getting right to the end of the game and he's like, oh, I'm almost won, and then 2-3 turns you're in last place now. It's like, oh.
The idea is that the luck will depend more on the board that you play. So for example, we're considering having like a more chaotic board that's pretty much, if you want like a more luck-based game, then go for this board.
As you were saying, nothing's more soul crushing than losing to luck, unless you have a sort of a stealing element to the advantage points, I think you call them, because that does tension some friendships or relationships, as the plentiful memes you've probably seen go around.
Yeah, I would say networking is a very unique challenge coming from a single-player game to that. Edgar, have you had any experience with networking beforehand?
Yes, I've had experience with networking, but mostly for non-game applications, where we want to have like different people playing and everything running at the same time. Thankfully, apparently, Steam is going to help a lot with those issues.
In our sort of internal dev build, where you do already have like an absolute bare bones working copy where me and people are running around, running into each other and shoving each other off the platform. So we have the basic premise there already, which is
that is good.
Actually, thank God that we switched engines to Unreal, because with our Mega Man 2.5D engine, having network capability will require me to do everything from scratch.
Oh.
So we're happy that we actually switched.
Will there be like any type of plot line or storyline, like not really a story mode, but like, are we gonna see like a familiar antagonist throughout, like maybe the boards or something like that, or I don't even know if there is an antagonist, or is it just like literally mini games and you go around the board?
What we do have like a Bowser type antagonist that just pops up and makes your life miserable. We gotta have that, really. So
they stole an office photo of me and put me in the game.
yeah. No, but we're just gonna make him as annoying as we possibly can. It's gonna be great.
So one of the things, obviously that we have spoke about is the online capabilities of being able to play with friends. Sometimes you see that moment where all your friends get over as like a work party, or just have a couple of friends come over to hang out, have a fire. Are you guys trying to incorporate couch co-op as well as a feature?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we want to be able to have a mix of couch co-op and online co-op, and pretty much any combination of them. our idea is also that if you're playing online and one of the players just wants to disconnect, then be replaced by a NPC. Or if you're in a hurry, you can just join in a little bit, play some mini games, and then you disconnect, and then maybe someone else will take your place.
Sure, so almost kind of like a drop-in or drop-out feature that you would kind of see in some of the Lego games or things like that, like Diablo. Okay, very cool. No, I think that's great.
One last bit to online. Will there be like some more of like a lobby matchmaking system, or do you have to like know who you're gonna play with and you kind of open up a room and they join in?
It's going to be difficult to really say for now. Right now, it's entirely possible. In the prototype that we have, Peter can see that I'm playing and just literally select join, and boom, he connects to me. So it's not unfeasible to be doing, but we're not sure.
Yes, we plan to have lobby matchmaking, but the idea is to have matchmaking with lobbies, so you can join a lobby or you can invite someone and create your own lobby. So it's going to be pretty similar to how other Steam games work.
I guess another question I would have for you all, and granted this may be a little bit harder because you guys were talking about the almost like the one-to-play system. Would you ever consider having leaderboards? Because a lot of times people really love to have leaderboards for things like this based off of maybe total coin value or anything, like people can be competitive even if they don't necessarily know each other to kind of spur on that competition.
Sounds entirely doable. Because it'd be statistical data that you could gather, so it could be a thing that if you own it, you could submit your data to the leaderboards if you want to, just for a sort of bragging rights. If people are interested in that, I don't imagine it'd be too different.
Yeah, we haven't considered that option, but as you said, it's not really that difficult to add. And
Like in your last game, your achievements were really like worthwhile for me doing. It wasn't just like, oh, I get a trophy or I get a score. It was actually stuff that I could actually use in my next playthrough of the game, or just more content to the game in general. So like I think you guys said you're gonna have hats or maybe aesthetics that you're gonna have. And anything else, like any other like sort of achievement, like unlockable stuff?
yeah, I think in my mind it's gonna be a little bit similar to Harry Party, that you start with I don't know, not all the boards, but you just play once or twice, and then you have another board available. Your mini games get unlocked by, I don't know, playing other mini games.
You could have unlockable soundtracks for boards.
Yeah, we'll just have to see like what makes, well, first of all, like what kind of time we have for it, and then just what makes sense to have, considering it's a party game.
We still have the thing with the hats or different unlockables that we want to have for aesthetic reasons. So yeah, we're planning also some of them can be unlockable. Maybe we can try to sell some of them, similar to Team Fortress 2 or Street Fighter 5. So they're not going to affect the gameplay.
If you were all to play, All Is Fair, Love, War, and Party games, which member of the team would you say is most likely to backstab the rest of you?
Oh man.
Me.
Yeah,
I mean, I do
down,
it probably. I mean.
I'm gonna vote for Cat. Yeah.
On your other game, I think you just had like a whole bunch of fan-made reversions of music. So this one, do you actually have somebody working on the music, right?
Oh yeah, we have help from Thomas Blackburn.
Yeah, it was really fun how he ended up in part of the team. He, I think it was just after Beta 3 that we put out. He saw that we were planning Splash Woman in there, and Splash Woman would have been in at that point, and we didn't actually have a remix stage for. And he posted on forum and say, "Hey, I love your game. I thought it'd be really neat if you had a remix." So I made one. And it was a really nice one. It needed a little adjustment, but we said, hey, like, this guy's really passionate and he's really good at music. And he just sat there and blitzed through making a bunch of them just out of pure passion. And it was nice to have someone with so much passion on the project, like to invite onto the project as well.
I'll just play. You guys won't be able to hear it, but the viewers will be a few samples. I'm actually going to put up your guys' character. You want to introduce us to your cast?
On left there we have pretty much that's our Link, really. It's kind of our like game mascot, I guess you could call him. And then we have to the right of him we have Nova. We wanted to make sure we had just like at least one female character, and we wanted to have someone that just seemed like kind of a badass. You know, if you look at the Mario Party or really the Mario games, you have there's a lot of princesses.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to have something a little different.
A bit more confident.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's a nice contrast to the main character, because he's kind of low confidence, kind of low self-esteem.
She's gonna beat you up and then take your lunch money.
Yeah, pretty much. Then we've got our big muscly dude, and he's pretty much the big and strong guy. We wanted to have our Donkey Kong, really, just really big and intimidating. Then lastly we've got our kind of bad guy, Blight, who's he's the smallest. I mean, they're all pretty small. Well, not.
So like a Napoleon complex type deal.
Yeah. Then we've got our Bowser type guy there with the fox mask. I'm really looking forward to coming up with stuff for him, because that's gonna be cool.
He looks like a trickster of some sorts.
Yeah,
a schemer.
He's pretty much a trickster type. And then the guy to the rightmost there is our shopkeeper. So he'll be running the item shops in the game pretty much.
It makes me think he's by Mr. Miyagi or something.
Yeah, he's got that weird Mr. Miyagi thing going on there.
All right then. So I guess that will pretty much conclude, unless any of you guys have any concluding statements or so. Where's the best place to get news for you?
Obviously, social medias like our Facebook page, our Twitter page, or if you're just looking to chat with us as we're doing stuff, we have opened up our Discord to the public.
Well, there you go, guys. I'm just gonna pan us over to the and also thank you, Ice, for coming out and being the co-host with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys, and thank you the team from ScrewBit to show up and talk to our fans about it.
Here's their Twitter, and they also have a Discord. I put the link up there too. You will have to be a member of it for I think about 10 minutes before you can talk. You can look, you just can't speak for those 10 minutes. But really appreciate everybody coming out today. From all the staff members of ScrewBitGames, Iceline, and all you guys for coming out and watching. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we can get this Kickstarter going. Like I said before, you can just put it in Kickstarter, Board Blitz, or go to the link I put in chat. And thank you so much, everybody, and goodbye.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Hey guys, one thing that you could do that would tremendously help would be sharing the project by way of social media or word of mouth. You can follow their page on Facebook, Twitter, as well as look at their Kickstarter for more news and updates. Once again, thank you all for your support. America and the UK do share somewhat of a history that maybe some of them are similar, although you guys still call football wrong, soccer.
You mean you guys call it wrong?
The ball is a foot long, sir, 12 inches, and there you go. Yours is not. Yours is a circular.
Maybe that's just size, like the confidentiality sort of cover there.